All right, so Marty, who asks the best questions, asks, dumb question, how many nodes are needed to approve a block before it is added to the chain? And how does the network decide which nodes are the ones that are consulted before a block gets added to the chain? So for this relationship between miners and node operators, we got a new metaphor, and it's the bingo metaphor. Miners are the people that are scribbling on their bingo cards trying to get bingo. And then the node operators are the guys that say, you know, here's a bingo card, is it bingo? And the node operator says, yeah, that's bingo, or no, that's not bingo. Go back and try to figure it out again. Except instead of one judge, one bingo card validator at the top of the room, there's actually like thousands. There's however many nodes there are out in circulation. Each one of those is validating bingo cards. And you can think about every node as a bingo card checker. I'm a bingo card checker. You're a bingo card checker. Coinbase is a bingo card checker. Gemini, Kraken, F2 Pool, all the miners, Luxor, all these people are bingo card checkers. And we're all just checking, is the thing that you sent me a consensus valid Bitcoin transaction? And so if my node gets to check before your node does, my blockchain is gonna have one extra block on it than yours does. And we're gonna be on different chains. And so if I'm a bad guy and I'm like, oh, this Bitcoin transaction is valid, even though it isn't, then every other node in the system would have to coordinate with me to be bad and to say, this is valid, you know, this is the right version of the chain. And that version of the chain is gonna have this extra block that everyone that's being honest doesn't have. And so then over time, there will be differences in those two chains. Maybe after 6 blocks, my chain has 6 extra blocks and the real legit chain has 0 extra blocks. And because there's a split in these two versions of the chain, or like the history of all the transactions on the network, now we're gonna have 2 different coins. We're gonna have like evil Bitcoin that I lied and now there's a bunch of extra transactions on my chain. And then there's real Bitcoin, which is over here that like the rest of the world is not recognizing. And that's basically exactly what happened in stuff like Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision. Those two coins created different rule systems that forked off and created entirely new blockchains, but up to a certain point, the chains were exactly the same. So really the question doesn't make a ton of sense, but if I was gonna answer it 100%, how many nodes are needed to put the next block onto the chain, the answer would be like the majority or like the economic majority of the network, because the miner doesn't want to start to build their next block on top of a chain that like hasn't really been vetted. Like if my node that was corrupt was the only one that was validating transactions, F2 Pool doesn't want to build the next transaction that might be BS also on top of my thing if the chain is just going to get reorged. Hopefully that all made sense. There's no dumb questions when it comes to stuff like this, so leave more dumb questions down in the comments. They help out a lot of people.